Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head on UATV. I'm Oles Garjuk. No more celebrity scandals or deportation. Russian artists may now tour throughout Ukraine once they have received authorization from the Security Service of Ukraine. Such amendments to the law on touring events were adopted by the Ukrainian parliament recently. To help clear up these new legal nuances, we are joined in the studio by political scientist and media expert Roman Holovenko. Hello and thank you for coming.
Hello, thank you.
First of all, I would like to ask you to tell us more details about this law.
In fact, this law prescribes that the organizer of a concert, for example, should ask State Security Service of Ukraine whether some person, I mean the Russian star who will be at this concert, whether he or she will be allowed entrance in Ukraine or not. Because we, in fact, have a lot of cases when Russian stars made statements like, for example, Odessa city is Russia, or we are the same nation, and it may be regarded as denial of territorial integrity of Ukraine or denial of Ukrainian identity, and it means that if we are the same nation with Russians, we should be the same state. And this is a formal measure because anyway, without this law, any Russian stars may be denied as any citizen, because it's natural right of a state to allow or to deny entrance into the country for some persons with the reasons of national security or for the reasons of the safety of the citizens of this country.
But what does this law prohibits for Russian citizens? For example, for Russian artists?
Yes, also its law clearly prohibits the statements xenophobic statements and other statements about Russia, which
about
in
Ukraine.
fact referring Ukraine, right, which in fact support Russia in this conflict with Ukraine, and its statements may be very positively regarded with their paramilitary groups, Russian paramilitary groups here in Ukraine, but on the other hand, Ukrainian veterans also may react very negatively. It may cause violence. In fact, when the people who have been fighting in Donbass, for example, for Ukraine, they may try to prevent any such a type of a concert, and for these reasons such law have been passed in Verkhovna Rada, and I think it will be signed by the president.
But just a quick remark that this law is not about Russia, but about the state aggressor. And now
Yes.
officially Russian Federation is recognized as a state aggressor in Ukraine, so that is why we implemented towards Russia.
Yes, in fact, yes.
What is the procedure if the Russian artist wants to come to Ukraine, to tour in Ukraine? What's the procedure? You mentioned that he or she has to apply.
The organizer has to apply to State Security Service before, if I'm not mistaken, a month till the date of the concert, for example, and he will be informed is this person allowed for entrance into Ukraine or not. And also it obliges in fact obliges the organizers to inform the Russian stars, celebrities, that they should not make any statements referring support of Russia in this conflict with Ukraine, or any statements that might be regarded as Ukrainophobic and so on. Because in fact this formally the organizers are responsible for the absence of such statements, and they may be fined if there was a breach of such norm. but I am doubtful whether it will work, because the law does not prescribe amendments to the Code of Administrative Offences, and in Ukraine it's usual practice that any fine for such type of breach of law is prescribed in this code, and if there is no such norm in this code, it may be problematic to implement.
What's the amount of fine?
From 50 till 100 of minimal salaries, which are in Ukraine 3,200 hryvnias.
So basically it's equivalent to 320,000 hryvnias as maximum.
Yes, yes.
Actually, this amount of money is not a lot of money for a tour across of Ukraine. Do you think this punishment is fair enough?
You know, it looks like a fine which should be paid personally by the organizer, not a legal entity, not his business, but his money, personal money.
So the organizer is the one who is responsible for the anti-Ukrainian statements?
It looks like, yes.
Okay, so there is no punishment for the actual artist in Ukraine?
It may be punished by the other norms. I think even criminal punishment may be it in some cases, or other types, maybe administrative punishment. It depends on the matter of the statement made by the Russian celebrity or Russian star.
Mm-hmm. If the artist is denied to tour in Ukraine, does it mean that he or she is automatically added to the list of persons who are causing a threat to the national security of Ukraine?
Yes. In fact, it looks like he denied anyway, not only as a singer or celebrity, but even like a private person who are looking for vacations in Ukraine. He also will be denied. But I think also this person will be added to the list you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Which means that Ministry of Culture, which is responsible for the list, yes, and the Security Service of Ukraine developed a good cooperation in this issue, right?
I don't think there is a clear and good cooperation, but it might be agreed between the two governmental bodies after this law will be signed and will be in force.
Mm-hmm. And if the person makes anti-Ukrainian statement after he or she received the permit by the Security Service of Ukraine, can he or she still tour?
If you mean on Ukrainian soil?
Well, yes. If this person, this artist, got the permit issued by the Security Service of Ukraine, and after that, he or she made an anti-Ukrainian statement, for example, I don't know, about division of Ukraine. But this person has the actual authorization, has the document that approves coming to Ukraine. So can this person tour, or somebody will, I don't know, collect the information about this person until the actual visit to Ukraine?
I don't think that it would be such some type of monitoring for every Russian celebrities and so on. But if some celebrity made such a statement on Ukrainian soil during this tour, and the State Security Service or other governmental body will be informed about it, I think that time limit for visiting Ukraine will be much shorter for this person, and she or he will not be able to finish his or her tour, and this person I think will be included to the blacklist you mentioned. Mm-hmm. But it's not. I think the practice will clarify such things, and because there are a lot of mechanisms. You mentioned the list of the Ministry of Culture, also the State Security Service has their own list of the persons, foreigners who are not allowed to enter in Ukraine. It doesn't matter whether it is a celebrity or ordinary person. It's much bigger list.
When does this law come into force?
I don't remember. I think that about till the new year, if it will be signed, it will be in force.
And what's your personal opinion about this law?
I think it's right move, but we are in such a difficult situation because it's not only the celebrities, the problem of the celebrities. It is the problem of Russian society. You know, Russian society, 85 or 86 persons of the Russian population support Putin's actions against Ukraine, and we are here focused on the celebrities and stars and so on, but the problem is much bigger, and we made some move, but it looks like small moves towards the aim. Maybe visas for Russians might be much better solution for such situation and for such problem. And a lot of other types, not only stars but Russian business, Russian politicians, and so on, may be under the procedures of the visa procedures, and it will be clear. And if we make a lot of moves step by step, it creates an attention and a lot of Russian government replies and negotiations, which are not very good for Ukrainian position. I think it should be at once make a total decision for all the types of for all the categories of Russians, and not to disperse the problem into the small pieces, which every one of which will be matter of negotiations and matter of applies to Council of Europe and so on, that there is maybe some actions against the freedom of speech and cultural policy and so on. I think it should be just visa procedures for all the Russians.
And the very last question: it took 3 times for the Ukrainian parliament to pass the amendments to the law on. Why do you think?
To which law?
To pass the amendments to this law about the touring events. It took 3 times for the parliament to adopt the amendments.
Precisely this one piece of amendments. Yeah. It's typical practice for Ukrainian parliament because it's overflowed of the draft with the draft laws, and you know, any member of Ukrainian parliament may present a lot of his own draft laws, and the quality of the work of parliament is not very good.
So you think there is nothing behind that maybe, I don't know, some of our politicians would try to protect some celebrities from this law or something? There is nothing behind this?
It's typical. A lot of other laws have been passed after the 3rd, 4th, and even maybe 8th voting in the parliament by the members of the parliament, because this is a lack of members of the parliament in the session and so on.
Okay, thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
That was Roman Golovenko, political scientist and media expert. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Oles Garjuk. Goodbye.